Welcome back to God is Alive. My name is Serena, and here I speak all about what it truly means to have a personal relationship with God. We have faith every day that we'll wake up tomorrow, so I want to start a fire in your heart to stop chasing the temporary things of this world and to put that same faith in God. So let's learn about God and learn to lean on God, because what's the worst that could happen? Hi, my loves. Welcome back to God is Alive. My name is Serena, and today I'm speaking about what will eternal life be like. We know that Jesus promises eternal life to his believers. So what is this eternal life actually going to be like? So what do you think about when you think about eternal life? Do you think about your loved ones? Do you think about floating on the clouds, harps, choirs, angels, the saints, whatever it may be? And I can't lie, sometimes the idea of eternity can be a little frightening, especially if we don't really know what it's going to entail. So I'm going to do my best to cover just about everything that we know about it to help paint a clearer picture for you. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is our new bodies. So Philippians chapter 3 verse 21 talks about who will transform our lowly body to be like his glorious body, by the power that enables him even to subject all things to himself. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 44 also talks about this, where it says, "It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. If there is a natural body, there is also a spiritual body." It is also 1 Corinthians chapter 15, specifically verses 42 through 44, that talk about how it will be imperishable, it will be glorious, and it will be raised in power. And unfortunately, we can't really comprehend right now what that's going to be like. But we do know from Revelation chapter 22, verses 3 through 5, it says, "No longer will there be anything accursed, but the throne of God and the Lamb will be in it, and his servants will worship him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. And the night will be no more. They will need no lamp or lamp of sun, for the Lord their God will be their light, and they will reign forever and ever." So we know that instead of the sun that we see now, God will be our sun. There will be no more night. There will be no more sleeping, for we will have our new bodies, or our spiritual bodies, whatever you want to call it. Now here's where it kind of gets interesting, because you have verses like Matthew chapter 5 verse 19, which says, "Therefore whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven." And then you've got that parable, which is in Matthew chapter 25. I'm going to read verse 21, where it says, "His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set over you much. Enter into the joy of your master.'" This is also repeated in Luke chapter 19, verse 17, where it says, "Well done, good servant, because you have been faithful in very little, you shall have authority over 10 cities. Verses such as these insinuate that there will be different statuses or rewards, if you will, in this next life, depending on what we do here in this life. It sounds as though we will be honored, or we will serve different roles in this kingdom based on our faithfulness here in this life. And then Revelation chapter 21 verses 1 through 3. I know it's a lot of verses today because it just explains it the best, and I don't want you to think I'm pulling this out of my butt, because I'm not. It's this verse that explains that we will be dwelling on the new earth, which will also be the new heaven. It will be one. So it says, "Then," this is John writing this, "then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and he will be his people, and God himself will be with them as their God. And this matches the fact that there will be no sun, for God's presence itself will be the light. And we know that Jesus is going to be the eternal King in this New Jerusalem, this city, if you will. And so Revelation chapter 21 verses 24 through 26 are the verses that explain a little bit what this city is going to look like. So it says, Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb through the middle of the street of the city. Also on either side of the river, the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Revelation chapter 21 verses 24 through 26 gets really interesting because it says, By its light will the nations walk, and the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it. And its gates will never be shut by day, and there will be no night there. They will bring into it the glory and the honor of the nations. So we know that in the heart of this reality, there will be a city in which people can come and go freely from it. It says in Revelation chapter 21 verse 4, He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away. So we know for a fact that this life, there will be no death, no pain, no murderers, no marriage, no sorrow, no pain, none of that. And we also know that God will no longer be a wrathful God. You know, the one that we hear about God having to do some crazy things like the Sodom and Gomorrah, or, the second death of the wicked. And we're like, God, aren't you like a loving and caring God? Yes, he is. But he's also just, and he has a standard. And he's not going to let wickedness just go on forever. And so Isaiah chapter 57 verse 16 is when God says, For I will not contend forever, nor will I always be angry. For the spirit would grow faint before me, and the breath of life that I made. The point that I'm trying to get using that verse is, he says, I will not always be angry. Because in this next life, none of us are going to be going against God the way that many people do here on the earth, and the way that Satan, the fallen angel, did. He went against God. No one's going to be doing that then. So he's not going to have to show his wrath. And then in Revelation chapter 21, it even talks very specifically about what the city will look like. The verse I'm going to read is verse 21, where it says, In the 12 gates were 12 pearls, each of the gates made of a single pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, like transparent glass. Every time that John describes what it's going to be like, it always comes across to me as a radiant, perfect, pure, eternal kingdom with a perfect eternal king. We know that everything that God has created has a role, has a purpose, and delights in being with God. Like the creation that exists with him now in heaven, they love being with God. And I can imagine, I don't know about you, but I long to feel like I'm home. And it feels like no matter where I go on this earth, I'm never home. And I truly believe that that feeling will be satisfied then. And so the last verse I'm truly going to leave you with is this one. And this is the most important one in my opinion. And it's 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. It says, "But as it is written, what no eye has seen, nor ear has heard, nor the heart of man imagined, what God has prepared for those who love him." At the end of the day, it's a surprise. This verse, it implies that our minds can't even imagine nor comprehend what God has in store for us. And I'm willing to bet my life that it's going to be really, really good. So I hope this podcast wasn't a letdown in any way. I have pretty much provided to you everything that the Bible alludes to what it's going to be like. You know, the day is coming where his people will not only be with him, see him, know him, but we will truly get to experience what he has prepared for us, what all of this is really about. And all of this, it seems as though everything that we have experienced and endured here will pale in comparison to what that is going to be like. What I know for a fact is that we do have an amazing inheritance in store for us, and that we have a creator who loves us more than we could ever imagine. And so the thing I truly want to get across to you today is that we are not just passing time here. We are being prepared every single day for his kingdom, for what he has in store. Everything that we learn here, it's not like we're going to forget it per se. We're still going to be us, but we're going to be a new glorified version of us. One that's not having to go through heartache and suffering and pain. One that's freed from all of that. I truly don't believe that we're ever going to be bored there. And once we get there and once we experience what it's like, it doesn't sound like we're ever going to want to leave and that we're ever going to want to go against it. We look around here and we can see how creative he is, how powerful he is. Just imagine what he has in store for those who love him. And so although I cannot wait to experience what that's going to be like, it is kind of a little sobering, I don't know the word, to think about that what we have here is not going to exist forever. And so that being said, I know it sounds corny a little bit, but after learning all of this, I just kind of want to enjoy every minute that I do have here in this life, in this experience, and know that we do have something amazing in store for us then. Although it's going to be different, I definitely think that we're going to prefer that over what we have now. And so if we feel like holding on to what we have now, imagine what we're going to feel like then. And so I really hope I kind of answered your question a little bit. And if you want to read about it for yourself, I suggest reading Revelation chapter 21. It talks about the new heaven, the new earth, and the new Jerusalem. And then Revelation 22 is the last chapter of the New Testament, which talks about the river of life and Jesus coming back. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's podcast. Today's song of the day is Church, Take Me Back by Cochren and Co. This song's a very upbeat song. It starts out very heartfelt. I feel like I say that a lot, but it's very true. And he kind of writes in the song, I tried to walk on my own, without God, without Jesus, and I wound up lost. And he kind of writes how now he's making his way back to the foot of the cross. He writes how it's what feels like home. It's the only thing he can truly depend on. And that for him, it's more than just an obligation, going to church, being in relationship with God. That for him, being in a true church, that's like his family. It's the closest thing to him that feels like home. So yeah, Let me know any song of the days in the comments, and let me know what you thought about today's podcast, please. And as always, I cannot wait to talk to you again next time.